Hey carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. I hope you all are having an amazing day. As always, drop a comment down below. Let me know how you all are doing on your carnivore journeys. So this video is a very special one because I got to hang out and sit down with Dr. Ken D. Berry in person. So I asked him a bunch of excellent carnivore questions submitted by my members in the Steak and Butter Gang. And I did want to share that Dr. Ken Berry will be a guest speaker in the Steak and Butter Gang for my upcoming carnivore challenge. So if you want to submit your questions for Dr. Berry, meet and learn from him live on Zoom, come join my next carnivore challenge. There are 24/7 chat boxes and you'll get a total of 32 hours of live Zoom calls each month to ask questions, connect, get support, and the coaching and expert guidance you need from my coaches and the carnivore doctors that I invite on. So for more details, what else is included, and all of the perks and benefits of being a member of the Steak and Butter Gang, go to sbgmeetup.com or click the links down below in the description box. Hey SB fam, carnivores, welcome back to the channel. Guess who I am next to? The amazing Dr. Ken Berry. How are you?
Hey guys, hey, I'm great. Thanks for letting me do this.
So where are we right now?
We're in Costa Rica. Beautiful, sunny Costa Rica. It's wonderful. We've got so many great people here, just like Bella, that the house guests are so lucky to have all these people helping them and answering their questions. It was amazing, I thought.
I thought so too. It was absolutely amazing. Tonight we're wrapping up the filming, so I thought I would pull Dr. Berry aside just to answer some carnivore questions. I posted some polls in the Steak and Butter Gang and on Instagram, so I'm going to just read you questions. You can take your time answering them.
Sure, yeah.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. First question is from Donna Kessler. She says, Dr. Berry, for years now I have had a rash-like redness on my neck. It started as a red ring around my neck. Now it kind of goes down a bit on my chest and up both sides of my neck. When I asked my doctor, she didn't really even look at it and just said it's hormones. Will this eventually go away eating carnivore?
Maybe, but it absolutely depends on what it is. There's literally 200 different things that this could be. You need to see a dermatologist and you need to have several punch biopsies taken, if not a more aggressive biopsy, to send that off to dermatopathology so that they can look at this under the microscope and tell you, first of all, exactly what is this. It doesn't sound like your doctor is very concerned. Is that because it's not concerning, or is that apathy? Who knows, right? But this is your neck and your life and your body. It could be just plethora. It could be hormones. It could be, but you need a definitive diagnosis on this because several autoimmune conditions can present this way. Other liver conditions can present this way. So you really need this to be thoroughly investigated. And then if it turns out to be just hormones, huzzah. But you need to know, black and white, yes or no, what exactly is this? And something else that happens a lot with new carnivores that I hear, skin gets itchier when they first start. What could that be? Well, a lot of people say that's oxalate dumping, and it very well could be, at least in some people. Still, we need some research on this. We're not really sure exactly the mechanism of how that's happening. But I think that when you eliminate carbohydrates, you're going to go through some degree of carbohydrate withdrawals. And if anyone's ever tried to quit drinking alcohol, if they're an alcoholic, or smoking cigarettes, or using illicit drugs, itching is very commonly one of the side effects of withdrawal. So could be withdrawal, could be oxalate dumping, could be a combination of those two and other things. But if it's temporary and if it doesn't really affect your activities of daily living, then I would let it ride and see if it doesn't just self-resolve. But if it gets worse, if it doesn't go away, see your doctor. This is from our beautiful New Yorker. I've already been a carnivore for 2 years, although I have victories and I focus on them, like no more gastritis, no more symptoms or menstrual cramps. I've gained almost 50 pounds and it's desperate. Just participating in communities like Bella's keeps me on my feet. And I know that we are not all the same, but I would like to know if you have had any cases of people gaining weight on carnivore, and what worked for them, and how long has it taken them to have that body release the weight? Yeah, so if you know for sure that you are pure carnivore and with no cheats, then I have seen some women have some initial weight gain on carnivore, but that virtually every time stops and reverses if they're overweight to start with and they start to move towards their ideal body weight. But if you've been carnivore for this long, we obviously know you know what that means and what to do and what not to do, and you've gained that much weight. I've never heard of anybody gaining that much weight on carnivore. This is almost certainly an undiagnosed medical condition or an undiagnosed hormonal condition. You need to have a full thyroid lab panel checked, possibly a thyroid scan, definitely a visit to the endocrinologist, a complete adrenal gland workup, a complete sex hormone workup. There's almost certainly something else going on that has been missed or that's not being figured into the calculation.
From Peggy S. After losing 120 pounds on keto, I got my A1C down to 4.8. I did strict carnivore for 6 weeks, and not only did I gain weight, when my A1C was tested, it was up to 5.4. Is this normal, and will my A1C come back to the lower level?
Yeah, this is completely normal. We usually see this in women predominantly, but it can happen in a man as well. But keep in mind, 5.4 is normal. And a 5.4 A1C is probably better than 85% of the adult U.S. population. So 5.4 is nothing to be disappointed about or feel guilty about. 4.8 is pristine, no doubt. As you continue a carnivore diet, Bella would probably agree, you probably need to increase the fat percentage that you're eating. If you eat too high protein, it's not necessarily bad for you, but it can lead to some weight gain, and so what is the weight gain that you're having? How do your blue jeans fit? That's the excellent common sense test. If you're like, well, no, my blue jeans still fit pretty good, but the scale says I've gained weight, then this may be body recomposition. You may be putting on more muscle, and you may be strengthening your bones and your tendons and your ligaments and your fascia. All those things show up on the scale. They don't float in midair. They have weight attached to them, even though they're very, very good things. But especially if you've had a weight problem your entire life, that scale is kind of the boss of you.
Right.
But if the blue jeans are still fitting and you're like, no, yeah, then this may be nothing to worry about whatsoever. But I would expect as you continue that you're going to notice improved body composition, and the scale is ultimately going to go in the right direction.
Or just go in the trash.
Or go in the trash, yeah. If you don't have a Taylor's tape, I would highly recommend all you guys get a Taylor's tape and take your measurements, just like you're being measured for a new dress or a new suit of clothes, and track your measurement changes. I'd much prefer you do that. And the one measurement I really want you to focus on is your waist to height ratio. Very, very important marker of metabolic health and metabolic syndrome. And as your measurements, because very often, especially for a woman, her measurements will drastically change, but the number on the damned scales won't move. This is very common. And so you're receiving hundreds of benefits. And if you had that Taylor's tape, you'd be getting victories that you could see in black and white when you add those numbers up, without necessarily having to depend on just the scale as your only semi-objective measure of how you're doing.
And for the men who are watching, this also applies to them as well.
100%, yes. Yeah, but men typically, if their shoulders are getting broader and their chest muscles are starting to stick out, they don't really care. They're like, okay, cool, that's good. But women, if the scale's saying the wrong word, that's the end of it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Next is from our member, Melissa Peterson. What should I do if T3 is slightly lab low? All other labs are normal. I am now taking iodine.
So yes, definitely get a good source of iodine, either from your food or from an iodine supplement. Secondly, you may or may not have something called a reverse T3 problem. So T3 is the active thyroid hormone in the human body. T4 is kind of storage and just hanging around waiting to be active. But many people will convert their T4 into reverse T3, which is not biologically active. And so they'll wind up, even though their TSH is fine, their free T4 is fine, they'll have just a little bit low T3, Or they'll have even a normal T3, but they still have severe low thyroid symptoms. And so this is why I'm such a huge advocate of getting a complete thyroid panel checked so that you know, do you have Hashimoto's? Well, you don't know if they haven't checked the right labs. Do you have reverse T3 problem? You don't know unless they've checked a complete thyroid panel.
Excellent. Oh, Karen Miles would like to know, did you jump into the pool?
Not yet, but I'm about to.
Really?
Yes.
It's getting cold.
I don't care.
Okay, I'm going in too then. Alyssa Kania says, any suggestions or words of encouragement for those who have constipation and slow motility since starting carnivore?
Yeah. So very many people, and I don't know if this applies to you, but it's important enough that I need to say it. Many people have some degree of gastroparesis or intestinal paresis from years and years of either type 2 diabetes or prediabetes or hyperinsulinemia without either diabetes or prediabetes. And so their gut just doesn't move as properly as it should. Now, many people just aren't eating enough fat in their carnivore diet. And when they up the fat, the number 2 takes care of itself. For some people, if their iodine is super low, they'll tend to have a decreased transit or an increased transit time. So it seems like things just aren't moving through you. Even if you do have a significant degree of gastroparesis, that's going to get better slowly, but surely, at least to some degree on a carnivore diet. So I would just make sure you're getting plenty of fat and you're getting plenty of iodine and give it time.
From Josie A. This question is for Dr. Barry, wanting to know if this diet increases the risk of colon cancer.
Yeah, so there is absolutely no research that exists on planet Earth that shows that eating a diet high in healthy fatty red meat increases your risk of any cancer whatsoever, much less colon cancer. All of the research that was done that showed a possible association between red meat consumption and colon cancer or any other cancer was observational research. And so by design, it cannot show causation. It can only show a possible association. Okay, and this is a lot like the false association between new, what's his name? I blanked on his name. This actor, every time he makes a new movie and it comes out in theaters, home swimming pool drownings go up. Now, this you can see the two curves, they go just hand in hand.
Yeah.
But do you think they're related at all? No. They're not in any way related. They don't, just because he has a new movie doesn't mean you should stay away from your pool, right? That's a false association. And so I think that the red meat causes cancer thing is based on a false association. There's no causative research whatsoever on the planet.
Awesome. This is from our beautiful member, Susan Myers. Love you, Susan. She says, why is there such a wide difference of opinions among those of you concerning exercise like CrossFit, for example? I love CrossFit. It's the only gym I've ever liked because it gave me my ability 11 years ago to lose 125 pounds on paleo. So thoughts on CrossFit?
So I don't think that there's any disagreement among any of us about exercise. Now, we may say things different ways. So if you're listening to someone who says that exercise or CrossFit is an excellent way for you to lose weight, then I disagree with them. But the reason I disagree with them is because they're just wrong. It's been shown time and time again in all the research studies that exercise is a terrible way to lose weight. So, but now with that being said, I think exercise is great for you in hundreds of ways. And if you enjoy CrossFit, some people love it, some people abhor it.
Yep.
If you're one of those people that love CrossFit, then I want you to wear it out. But it's not going to help you lose weight. If anything, you might gain weight in the form of stronger bones and stronger muscles and ligaments and tendons. So if you're like, I don't care, I want to be thick, but I want to be muscular thick, CrossFit is the answer for you. And if CrossFit feels to you like going outside to play, then CrossFit away, absolutely. It helps your brain, it helps your body, it helps you be healthy in hundreds of ways as long as you don't overdo it and tear something, which is pretty common in CrossFit. I like to do my own version of CrossFit on the farm, which is basically cutting down trees and then dragging the tops and flipping the trunks. That's kind of CrossFit, right? And I think a lot of the CrossFit movements and intensity that mimics the short bursts of activity that we would have partaken in the past, right? Thousands of years ago. But I don't think that we did those things for 8 solid hours at a time, unless it was life or death situation. And it definitely didn't happen every day. So enjoy your CrossFit, just don't overdo it, and have fun.
Awesome.
All you guys, go outside and play. That's all you have to do.
Do movement that you love to do. Yeah. And 2 questions from me.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on honey and fruit on the carnivore diet?
So full disclosure, I love fruit. And I love honey. Honey and coffee? Yes. But I fatten very easily. And I develop type 2 diabetes very easily. And if I enjoyed as much fruit as I just wanted to, and I put as much honey in my coffee as I wanted to, in just a few months, I would gain 20, 30, 40 pounds, and I would be pre-diabetic again. Because fruit and honey are full of not just fructose. This is a common misconception that you'll hear seemingly very knowledgeable people repeating. Honey is not just fructose. It also contains sucrose and glucose. All fruits, without exception, they have lots of fructose, no doubt, but they also contain sucrose and glucose. They are going to raise your hemoglobin A1C to some degree. Now, because they're so high in fructose, you're going to be causing glycation to your tissues and cells. But now here's the clincher. A hemoglobin A1C test, it checks you for glycation. But it only checks for glucose glycation. The way the test is designed is to look for glucose that is connected to lysine or another amino acid. That's what the test specifically looks for. Okay, this is very important. So you can have severe fructose glycation, also called fructation, that is invisible to the hemoglobin A1C test. Also invisible to the fructosamine test. Even though it has fructoso in the name, it still checks for glucose amino acid bonds. That's what it checks for. The same goes for galactose. For people who love raw milk and think that raw milk is carnivore, galactose is 10 times more glycating than glucose. Fructose is 7 to 10 times more glycating than glucose is. Number 1, and number 2, you cannot detect it with any test that your doctor can order in their lab or in their office. And so you're causing lots of glycation that will not show up on your hemoglobin A1C. And so also the sugar is going to raise your blood sugar. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's going to raise your insulin. That's going to lead to all the problems that hyperinsulinemia is connected to. So, if you want to do an animal-based diet with fruit and honey, I would say try it for 90 days. See how you feel, see how it's going, see what your blue genes say, right? See what your performance says, how are you sleeping, how's your mood. And at the end of that 90 days, I think that most of you will decide, yeah, I love fruit and honey, but that probably should not be part of my daily diet.
What stood out to me is raw milk, when you mentioned raw milk. So that could also be problematic, huh?
100%. Now, let me say, I'm not anti-raw milk. If you're going to drink milk, I think the least bad milk you can drink is whole raw milk.
Raw milk, yeah.
Whole raw milk.
Right.
I think that's the least bad of all the milk options out there. Whole raw goat's milk, I think, is the ultimate least bad for human beings. That's hard to find, but it's just because it's raw, a lot of people think it's magical, but it's still full of lactose. Lactose breaks down into glucose and galactose. Glucose glycates, we can detect that, but galactose glycates 10 times more, and you cannot detect it. Milk is literally made for mammals as babies to grow and gain weight as quickly as they possibly can. That is what milk is made for. So if you're watching this and you're under the age of 5, it's totally fine to drink raw, whole milk. You may need goat milk like Beckett Berry. He drinks milk every day. But when he gets 5, 6, or 7, we'll start to wean that out because he's going to lose his lactase ability, more than likely, at least to some degree. And he's also going to become more sensitive to the caseins and the whey in the milk. Milk is for babies. I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, but that's the truth of the matter.
I hope 5-year-olds start watching Dr. Berry's videos.
I hope they are.
And speaking of starting the carnivore diet, a great place to shop all things carnivore that is budget-friendly and convenient is Thrive Market. And I thought I would share with you all some of my staples from them. First one being Redmond's Real Salt. This is a very popular and much loved product in the carnivore community. Dr. Berry uses this and recommends it as a great high-quality salt. And if you need to supplement with more electrolytes because you're going through adaptation or have symptoms like muscle cramping, headaches, then I highly recommend Element. Very high quality, and this blue packaging, raw unflavored one, is the best one they offer. 0 stevia, 0 flavorings, and just the 3 electrolytes you need. And the next staple for me is this awesome glass jar of beef fat. It is from the brand Fatworks. It's literally 100% grass-fed beef fat, also known as tallow. It makes for a great cooking oil or just as an add-on for extra fat. Another excellent animal fat is ghee, and this is excellent for those who cannot tolerate butter. So if you're sensitive to lactose, ghee is clarified butter, no more trace amounts of lactose, and it cooks at higher temperatures. So this is also a great cooking oil. So those are just some of my favorite staples that I get from Thrive Market every single month. It's basically a membership-based grocery store where you can get all of your staples, carnivore snacks, and essentials for the cheapest price. One of my favorite features is that you can filter certain things in the app. So they have the ketogenic diet as one of their diet filters. So once you check that box, you will only see results that are keto-friendly, low carb, and a lot of those things are carnivore friendly. You can all get 30% off your first box plus a free gift worth up to $60. Just go to the URL shown on the screen, thrivemarket.com/steakandbuttergal, or click the links down below. All right, and last question. I love what you say about figuring out how much to eat. So when someone goes carnivore, even ketovore, what are some markers to know I'm eating enough?
Yeah. I think there's multiple markers. Some of us have been in such a fog for so many decades that we don't even know what true hunger feels like. We also don't know what true satiety feels like. Because if a large portion of your diet previously was soft drinks or fruit juice and chips and treats and snacks and sitting in front of the TV doing this for hours and hours, you literally have no idea what feeling truly hungry is. That's one of the many benefits of fasting is you find out, oh, that's what hunger feels like, right? Secondly, if you're eating foods that are not nutrient dense and are not full of healthy animal fat and healthy animal protein, you also don't know what true satiety feels like. That's where eating lots of fatty meat and eggs with the yolk and sticks of butter come in, because quickly you're like, oh, that's true satiety. For some people, usually women, when they first start carnivore, it can manifest as nausea. You'll feel nauseated and you're like, oh no, it made me feel yucky. That's because you're not used to feeling that. As you continue this, that mild nausea will just turn into a sensation of, oh, I'm full. That's it, I'm done. Many of us, it takes weeks, if not a little longer, to rediscover those signals. What does that mean? What's that feeling? I don't know. And so hunger, many things can manifest as hunger. Boredom, anger, frustration, stress, tiredness. Some people will say thirst can feel like hunger. Maybe, I don't know about that one. But many things, until you are on a proper human diet for long enough, many things can trick you into thinking that you're hungry when you're really not. And so I think Bella's strategy is brilliant, because if you feel like you're hungry, eat steak and eggs and butter. Until you get that, like, oh, that's it, I can't eat another bite. And then don't eat again until you think you're truly hungry. And if you keep doing that over and over and over on a daily basis, before long, and then also I think implementing some degree of a daily intermittent fast or a longer fast once a week. It won't be but just a few weeks and you'll be like, I know what true hunger is now.
Absolutely.
I know, and also I know that if I don't eat for 24 hours, I won't die. it's almost like a superpower, isn't it? It's like, because when you were 14, if I'd have said, you know, you don't have to eat for 2 days, you'd have been like, who are you, psycho?
Drop dead.
Right. I'll be dead in a few hours.
Right.
Not true at all. But you can feel that until you've experienced doing it, not dying, and actually be like, no, actually, I felt really great when I did that. But then I was ready to eat, so I ate. I think all those things are valuable exercises to retrain, and not even retrain in some cases, to actually discover for the first time what true hunger feels like and what true satiety feels like.
Bravo. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on all of these excellent questions? What do you think of Dr. Barry's fantastic answers? If you have more questions, drop it down below in the comment section. Dr. Barry, where can people find you? Any exciting announcements you'd like to share with us?
So I've got a little YouTube channel that you can just search Dr. Barry and you can find it. I've got over 600 videos now. And so if you have a particular health question, medicine, medical condition, just type in Dr. Barry, and whatever medicine, medical condition, nutrition question, dietary strategy, I probably have a video about that. I'm also, when I'm feeling especially snarky, I'll be on Twitter. If I'm feeling loving and supportive, I'll be on Facebook and Instagram. I'm all over, and just track me down. I just had a new book recently came out with Kim Howerton called Common Sense Labs. Wow. You know, the previous question about the thyroid panel. Yes. What is a full thyroid panel? It's commonsenselabsbook.com. Link down below. And I'm working on a book now that will be done somewhere between 6 months and 6 years called The Proper Human Diet. ADHD, so it'll get done when it gets done.
Awesome. And how are the beautiful babies doing? Oh,
the babies are so good. I miss them so much. I was FaceTiming with Beckett last night, and he said he wants me to come home and play rough with him. Wow. That's what he calls wrestling. And Bonnie Blue was laughing and smiling at me over FaceTime, so it makes me a little homesick, and I'm ready to get back to them. And my beautiful manager, boss, and partner, Nisha Salas-Barry. I'll be home soon, guys.
Well, thank you for your time, Dr. Barry.
My pleasure, always, always. Thank you, guys.
If you want to submit your personal questions for Dr. Barry and you want to learn and meet him live on Zoom, you can do so by joining my next Carnivore Challenge in the Steak and Butter Gang. I do monthly challenges, but I feature a very different panel of guest speakers every single month. So if you want to attend any of the guest Q&As shown on the screen, Dr. Barry, Dr. Elizabeth Bright, Dr. Jamie Seaman, and Ben Azadi's guest Q&As, make sure to sign up for my next Carnivore Challenge at sbgmeetup.com or by clicking the links down below for more details. You'll also get a total of 32 hours of live Zoom calls with me and my team of carnivore coaches so that you can troubleshoot, get your carnivore questions answered, and get the support, accountability, and help you need to stay on track and to reach your goals. Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications to not miss my future videos. I will see you all in my next video. Have an amazing rest of your day. SVG out.